Everyone and welcome to my Coronation Street official today channel. Please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Because what we are about to get into is one of the most emotionally devastating storylines the couples have delivered in a very long time. The tension that has been quietly simmering on the couples finally erupts in a way that feels both inevitable and deeply unsettling. As Summers finds herself at the center of a truth no one was ever meant to uncover, and certainly not one that would unravel everything she thought she knew about Billy's tragic death. For weeks, maybe even months, there had been small inconsistencies, little moments that didn't quite add up, glances that lingered too long, stories that shifted ever so slightly depending on who was telling them. But like so many secrets in Weatherfield, they were buried beneath layer of grief, denial, and the desperate human need to move on. What begins as a quiet, almost accidental suspicion slowly transforms into a full-blown reckoning. One that changes the street forever and forces every single person involved to confront the part they played in letting a dangerous lie live on far too long. Yet some are driven by a mixture of quiet suspicion and an emotional restlessness she couldn't ignore, begins to piece things together in a way that no one else has dared to. And honestly, I can't help but think, what kind of strength does that take? Everyone around her had accepted the story. Everyone around her had grieved and moved on and chosen not to look too closely at the cracks. But Summer couldn't do that. Something in her refused to let it go, and that quiet refusal is what sets everything in motion. It starts subtly, almost innocently, with a conversation that doesn't sit right, a detail that contradicts something she remembers hearing before, and soon enough curiosity turns into determination. The more she digs, the more the truth begins to surface, and with it comes a growing realization that Billy's death was not the tragic accident everyone believed it to be. Imagine sitting with that knowledge and not just suspecting it, but slowly watching the evidence confirm your worst fears. That is an incredibly isolating place to be. And yet Summer keeps going. Because she knows she has to. At the heart of it all lies Theo, a man who has carefully constructed his version of events, manipulating those around him with a calculated calm that now begins to crack under pressure. I can't believe how long he managed to hold it together. Honestly, the way he presented himself, composed, grief-stricken, even while knowing what he knew is chilling when you really think about it. Summer's journey is not just about uncovering facts, it's about confronting the emotional weight of what those facts mean, and the devastating consequences they carry for everyone involved as she follows the trail. Each discovery hits harder than the last, forcing her to question not only Theo's role in Billy's death, but also her own judgment and the trust she placed in someone who may have been hiding the darkest of secrets all along. The atmosphere becomes increasingly charged as whispers turn into accusations, and the once tightly held narrative starts to unravel in front of the entire community. What makes this storyline so gripping is not just the mystery itself, but the emotional stakes attached to it. Billy was not just another resident. He was someone deeply loved, someone whose absence left a void that could never truly be filled. And that idea that his death might have been preventable or worse caused by someone they knew adds a layer of heartbreak that resonates throughout the street. Summer's role in bringing the truth to light places her in an incredibly difficult position, as she becomes both the bearer of justice and the catalyst for immense pain. Her courage is undeniable, but it comes at a cost, as relationships begin to fracture and long-standing bonds are tested in ways they may not survive. Meanwhile, Theo's world begins to collapse around him, the carefully maintained facade slipping away as the evidence mounts and the people he once controlled start to see him for who he really is. His reactions shift from denial to desperation, and eventually to a kind of unraveling that reveals just how far he has gone to keep his secret hidden. The confrontation, when it finally comes, is as explosive as one would expect, filled with raw emotion, anger, and the sense of betrayal that cuts deep. Summer stands firm, no longer the uncertain young woman she once was, but someone who has found her voice in the face of overwhelming pressure. Her determination to honor Billy's memory and seek justice becomes the driving force behind her actions. Even as the consequences ripple outward, affecting everyone around her, the community itself becomes a character in this unfolding drama, with residents taking sides, grappling with their own feelings of guilt, shock, and disbelief. Some struggle to accept the truth, clinging to the version of events that allowed them to grieve without questioning, while others are quick to condemn Theo, their anger fueled by the sense that they have all been deceived. In the midst of it all, the question of justice looms large. What does it truly mean in a situation like this? And can it ever bring the kind of closure that those left behind so desperately need? The storyline doesn't offer easy answers, instead choosing to explore the complexity of human behavior and the ways in which people cope with loss, guilt, and the need for redemption. Summer's actions ultimately change the course of many lives, including her own, as she comes to terms with the reality of what she has uncovered and the role she has played in exposing it. There is a sense that things will never quite be the same again, that the street itself has been altered by the revelation in a way that cannot be undone. Yet within the upheaval lies a kind of truth that, while painful, is necessary, a reminder that secrets, no matter how deeply buried, have a way of coming to light, and that facing them, however difficult, is the only path towards something resembling healing. As the dust begins to settle, the focus shifts to what comes next, not just for Summer and Theo, but for everyone who has been touched by the fallout. The emotional aftermath is explored with a deep depth that highlights the show's ability to balance drama with genuine human insight, allowing viewers to see not just the spectacle of the revelation, but the quieter, more personal moments that follow. Summer's strength is tempered by vulnerability, her determination by the weight of what she has lost in the process, and Theo's downfall serves as both a cautionary tale and a moment of reckoning. Summer begins to wrestle with the personal toll of what she's done, not regret for uncovering the truth, but the quite heavy realization that justice doesn't always feel like victory. There are fractured friendships, lingering doubts, and the haunting question of whether things might have been different if someone had acted sooner. Meanwhile, Theo's downfall doesn't bring the sense of closure many expected. Instead, it opens up new wounds, forcing residents to confront how easily they were misled. And this is where the story truly lingers, not in the shock, but in the silence that follows, because what really hits isn't just the what Summer uncovered, it's what it cost her to say it out loud. There is a quiet strength in her now, but also a heaviness you can't ignore, like someone who's done with the right thing and still feels broken by it. And honestly, that's what makes this storyline feel so real, because justice here doesn't feel like a win. It feels like a sacrifice. In my opinion, this is one of those rare moments where the show stops being just drama and starts reflecting something deeper about trust, about how easily we believe what we are told, and how painful it is when that trust shatters. Because let's be honest, how many people on that street chose not to question things, simply because the truth was too uncomfortable, and now they have to live with that, piece by piece. But here is the part that really stays with you. What happens to Summer after this? Because uncovering the truth is one thing, living with it is something else entirely. Will she be seen as brave, or will people quietly blame her for tearing everything apart? And more importantly, will she ever feel at peace with what she's done? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Summer made the right call? And do you believe Theo will ever truly face the consequences? he deserves. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Coronation Street Official today for more updates from Weatherfield.